Hi, this is Rachelle with Journal Life's Journey, and I'm going to be making some pockets using Project Life cards. And I'm making these pockets for a few fall journals that I made. So I tried to pick colors that I thought had somewhat of a fall feel to them. And I picked both sizes, the 3x4 cards and the 4x6 cards. My collection of Project Life cards isn't that extensive, so I'm working with what I have here. And I'm also using the We Are Memory Keepers frame punch board. And I'm not very good with using this board. I think I've only used it one or two other times. So this is going to be a bit of a learning curve for me. I am using the 3x4 card to make a frame. It has some text and glitter on it that I don't feel like I'm actually going to use for anything else. So I don't mind punching out the center of that card and turning it into a frame. So I had my settings a little off on the first try, and some of the text was still showing on the frame. So I adjusted, and now I'm working with a 1/4 inch frame. So that's a little thinner than what I wanted, but I'm going to make this work. So as you can see, I'm not very good with this blade, the part where you actually cut the center out. I'm not very good with that part. I don't feel comfortable with it, but I get it done in the end. So here I'm just testing to make sure it's going to fit on the larger cards, which are 4x6, the way that I want it to. And here I'm adding an 1/8 inch double-sided tape. So basically what I'm doing here is making a frame pocket. So here I am trimming down a piece of scrap vellum that I'm going to use to put in the opening of the frame. And I'm just testing to make sure I cut the vellum right, and I do need to adjust and trim off a little bit more. And so it's fitting pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and round the corners because it fits so closely. Some of the corners were sticking out of the rounded journal card or the rounded edges of the frame. And I'm just removing the backing of the tape and getting ready to apply the vellum. Now this project was inspired by a project that I saw over at Me Crafty Scrapper, Melina's channel. I'll link to it in the description box below. It's not an exact use of the Project Life cards the way she did, but I took it and kind of made it my own little play on it. So, and I'm going to do several different styles here, but I'm going to ink the edges of the frame that is going to be a pocket. And I'm also inking the larger piece as well. And I'm using Vintage Photo for that. And so now I'm just going to use my wet glue. Barely Arts glue is the glue that I'm using. And I'm adding a line of glue on 3 sides and then placing my vellum frame on the Project Life card. So now I have a pocket down at the bottom. This can be something that is clipped into your journal, or you can actually glue it down to the page. Either way, you could turn it into a flip. It can be used many different ways. And since some of these Project Life cards also have designs on the front and the back, they work great if you just want to clip them in because you still have a design on the back. So here I'm doing the same process with a frame that is a little bit wider, more along the lines of what I really want for the frame. And I am adding the tape to the vellum to make the window in the pocket. And here I'm just adding the glue to 3 sides once again. And there we have a pocket, and I'm going ahead and inking the edges. So on this one, I inked the inside of the frame as well. Okay, so I'm pulling out another card and finding a piece. This is a cut apart, actually. It's not a Project Life card or a journaling card. It was actually a cut apart. So I'm going to use that. It's just some scraps that I'm using up, and I'm just adding it to the larger card, trimming off any excess. And re-rounding the corners, and now we have a pocket. Now this one, I didn't ink the pocket area first, which I should have, so I'll kind of struggle a little bit trying to ink the top of it. But I'm going around and inking the edges of the whole piece. And here I'm trying to get the pocket, the top of the pocket, without getting ink on the back. And then I'm just kind of grunging it up a little bit with the ink. So here I'm looking for another 3x4 or smaller card that I can use. And then I decide to use this floral as a base. So I'm trimming this down. And this one I'm going to put a thumb pull in. And I don't think this one is a Project Life card. I think this one is from the Happy Planner, or I got it from somewhere else. It's not a Project Life card. So anyway, I'm adding the glue to 3 sides and make it a pocket, and just adding it onto this floral card. So basically, Project Life cards are really just lightweight cardstock. So you can use them for a variety of things. You don't have to just use them to do Project Life type spreads or scrapbook spreads. They can be used for pretty much anything you would use a lightweight cardstock for. So here again, I am matching up my 3x4 with my 4x6. And I'm punching out the thumb pull area and inking up the card. Inking the top of the card, adding 3 sides of glue to the edge and placing it on the larger card. And we have an instant pocket. And then basically the only thing left to do is to decorate these and fill the pockets. I have 3 journals that I am embellishing and adding to. So I'm making 6 of them so that I can have 2 for each journal. I am going to do another frame using the We Are Memory Keepers frame punch board. And I'm getting a little bit better with practice with using it. And this one I'm going to do a little different. I inked the edges. I'm trimming up a little piece that the punch board didn't get, finishing up the inking. And I'm going to try and use some acetate on this one. This was a scrap of acetate that I have in my scrap bag. And I just wanted to try something different. The colors are a little wonky to me, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. Again, I'm using my scraps. So I measured out the size that I needed for the frame to fit in the window of the frame. And this one I messed up a little bit, but I recovered. So I'm using the 1/8 inch double-sided tape again. And I'm placing it so that I can adhere it to the frame. Then I discover that I put the tape on the wrong side. So I'm going in and putting it on the correct side. Burnishing it down. And placing it on the frame, adhering it to the frame. So now I have to figure out what to do with my other side because I have tape on all 4 sides, and I'm going to remove the backing. And if I place this down with all 4 sides with tape on them, it's not going to be a pocket. So to fix that, I'm taking a piece of scrap cardstock to cover the tape that I put in the wrong place, and in order to keep the pocket open, and placing it down, making sure that that's burnished really well since I'm using acetate, and voila, we still have a pocket. And I'm just rounding the corners, inking some of the 3x4 cards, adding them to the pockets. And I also had these leftover tabs from another project, and they're the right color scheme for my journal, so I'm going to put a couple of them on the journal cards in the pockets. That'll give them more of a tag feel. And this is the kind of thing that I do when I go in the craft lab in the evening and am working on journals, or just want to spend some time creating things or using up my scraps, or whatever the case may be. This is my box of Project Life cards, and I needed some more cards to fill the pockets and to work with. So I'm just going through looking to see if I can find any more suitable designs and colors that will work with the journals that I'm making. So I found a few more, and I'm just inking those up, prepping them to go in the pockets. Okay, again, just working on adding some cards to the pockets, journaling cards to the pockets, and making sure everything is ready to go in the journals. Now I'm going to go ahead and start embellishing these. I pulled out some embellishments, some labels, some clusters that I'd made previously. I'm just gluing the loose pieces on this cluster because it was stapled together, and I just want to make sure that all the parts stay in place. So I'm adding the glue and placing it on the pocket. Here I have a to from label, just a scrap that I have from I don't know where. It's a die cut scrap, and I'm just adding it to the pocket. I have some butterflies. I think some of these are from Artie Mays. So I'm using things from Artie Mays and Shabby Dabby Doodah. If I have other things, I might have a few items in here from Calico Collage. I'm not sure. And then I also have some things that I made myself, like that label I just placed. That one I made myself with a stamp and just some scrap paper, and adding the butterfly on the vellum. And I'm trying not to overthink this too much. I think that kind of slows me down a lot of the time. I overthink it. So I am trying to just go with my first impulse. And some of these cards that I'm adding are ephemera from other places. So here are the cards so far. So here I'm just adding some finishing touches. I used a washi sticker from Amazon. It's mushrooms on one of the pockets. I'm adding a couple more labels. Going through my label stash, seeing what else I can use to decorate these pockets. So I'm just, again, adding some finishing touches to them, and I may go back and add more embellishment to them later, but so far this is what I've got. This is how they look, and the cards that I've added to the pockets. Some of the cards that I've added are from the Planner Society, from a rack that I got a while ago, and I'm finally able to use them because they have that fall look to them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll holla at y'all next time. Bye.